Don't worry, I brought the tissues. Hello, you beautiful people on the internet. Welcome to my channel, and today I'm doing another book review of another Madeline Miller book. You know him. You have mixed opinions about him. The man, the myth, the legend, Achilles. Specifically, him in the Song of Achilles, which is not even told from the perspective of Achilles at all. This book is a more modernized retelling of the classic story of the Iliad in the eyes and point of view of Madeline Miller and Patroclus. Like I said in my Circe video, I have not finished reading the Iliad nor the Odyssey yet, so I do not know how historically accurate this adaptation is to the original source material, but I definitely know that Achilles and Patroclus were not cousins, so I'm already a step ahead from the Troy movie. All jokes aside, however you view the relationship between Patroclus and Achilles, that's your opinion, and like I said, you're entitled to it. I'm not here to say you're wrong. I'm just talking about this book where Madeline Miller shows them as lovers and their journey through their relationship from their meeting to the beginning and the end of the Trojan War. If I get any of these facts wrong, my apologies. Okay, yeah, that one was not funny. Now, I'm sure if you're on Book Talk, you've probably heard of this book before, and you've probably seen numerous accounts of people crying their eyes out afterwards, or people who just didn't get the hype. Well, today I'm giving my perspective. When I say modernized, I mean it was written in modern times, but it still has that formal feeling of the Iliad and the Odyssey, just a little bit easier to comprehend, just like Circe. And it is in ancient Greek times, also like Circe. Although these timelines, even though they do cross briefly, Circe definitely takes place on a more widespread range, considering that she is an immortal goddess. Meanwhile, Achilles is a demigod, and Patroclus is a mortal. I think the thing that makes this book so good is that you know what's going to happen going into it. Because, I mean, Achilles is most famous for his Achilles heel, being the strongest warrior and dying from a single arrow. But you don't know how it is going to play out. And again, I think that's the thing that breaks the most people. One thing about this book, though, it is constantly overhyped on Book Talk. Like I said, I'm a massive fan on this book. But if you raise your expectations too high going into this, I've seen a lot of people online be disappointed because they had their expectations so high. My expectations weren't that high, so I was they were blown out of the water, but it really depends how you feel going into it. This book is a great book to reread over and over again. I've caught myself rereading it a couple times since November, because it's like Hadestown a little bit, which I'm also a massive fan. You know what's gonna happen, but we're just holding on to that tiny piece of hope that it will end up differently, even though it never has, because as Achilles said, name one hero who was happy. You can't. And even though he said that he was going to be the first, hate to break it to you, buddy, I will hold your hand when I tell you this. In mythology, as I've mentioned, things are always interpreted differently, and honestly, this book has a little bit of this, because I've seen different things online, and I saw this one fan theory or interpretation that I love personally. It's what I choose to believe, and if you want me to make a separate video on that, just let me know in the comments. Another thing I love about this book is it has so many phenomenal quotes. Madeline Miller, she is an expert at writing heartbreaking and just stop and think lines, so I'm going to read one for you now. It's not really a big spoiler if you know anything about the myth, but it somewhat is. So if you want to stay completely spoiler free, skip to this time. This is probably one of the most known quotes from the book, but I'm going to read it. Name one hero who was happy. I considered this. Hercules went mad and killed his family. Theseus lost his bride and father. Jason's children and new wife were murdered by his old. Bellerophon killed the Chimera, but was crippled by the fall from Pegasus's back. You can't. He was sitting up now, leaning forward. I can't. I know. They never let you be famous and happy. He lifted an eyebrow. I'll tell you a secret. Tell me. I loved it when he was like this. I'm going to be the first. He took my palm and held it to his. Swear it. Why me? Because you're the reason. Swear it. I swear it, I said, lost in his high color of his cheekbones and the flame in his eyes. I swear it, he echoed. Achilles, my sweet child. Honey, you got a big storm coming. Well, that's all I have for today's video. I personally love this book, but it really depends what your feelings are going into it, how high you set your expectations. Some people, they don't like it the first time they read it, which is okay, but maybe try giving it a second chance. I just love it so much, and I'm glad I get to talk about it on here with you all. Make sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. And as always, thank you for coming to my Ella Talk. Let me know what you want to see next. Bye!